Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we're back again in Russell Square. We're going to continue our reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we're in the third chapter. Third chapter is entitled
Krishna is the source of all incarnations.
So before we begin, just want to send out a little offering of a prayer for my uncle, Larry Barnhart, who's just been admitted into the hospital. So things aren't looking so good. So we're going to do our reading in honor of him, and as an offering and prayer to Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we do the invocation.
Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Nuttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiriya Nasta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki.
Okay, so Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 1. Sutta said, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. And thus at first there was a creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe. Purport. Bhagavad Gita states that the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna maintains these material universes by extending his plenary expansions. So this Purusha form is the confirmation of the same principle. The original personality of Godhead, Vasudeva or Lord Krishna, who is famous as the son of King Vasudeva or King Nanda, is full with all opulences, all potency, all fames, all beauties, all knowledge and all renunciation. Part of his opulences are manifested as impersonal Brahman, and part of his opulences are manifested as Paramatma. This Purusha feature of the same personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the original Paramatma manifestation of the Lord. There are three Purusha features in the material creation, and this form, who is known as the Karanadakshay Vishnu, is the first of the three. The others are known as the Garbhodakshay Vishnu and the Kishoradakshay Vishnu,
Sure.
which we shall know one after another. The innumerable universes are generated from the skin holes of this Karanadakshay Vishnu, and in each one of the universes the Lord enters as Garbhodakshay Vishnu.
In the Bhagavad Gita is also mentioned that the material world is created at certain intervals and then again destroyed. This creation and destruction is done by the supreme will because of the conditioned souls or Nityabhata living beings. The Nityabhata or the eternally conditioned souls have the sense of individuality or ahankara, which dictates them sense enjoyment which they are unable to have constitutionally. The Lord is the only enjoyer and all others are enjoyed. The living beings are predominated enjoyers, but the eternally conditioned souls, forgetful of this constitutional position, have strong aspirations to enjoy. The chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material world, and side by side they are given the chance to understand their real constitutional position. These fortunate living entities who catch the truth and surrender unto the lotus feet of Vasudeva after many, many births in the material world join the eternally liberated souls and thus are allowed to enter into the kingdom of Godhead. After this, such fortunate living entities need not come again within the occasional material creation. But those who cannot catch the constitutional truth are again merged into the Mahatattva at the time of the annihilation of the material creation. When the creation is again set up, this Mahatattva is again let loose. This Mahatattva contains all the ingredients of the material manifestations, including the conditioned souls. Primarily, this Mahatattva is divided into 16 parts. namely, the 5 gross material elements and the 11 working instruments or senses. It is like the cloud in the clear sky. In the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling and in spiritual light. The Mahatattva is assembled in some corner of the vast, unlimited spiritual sky, and the part which is thus covered by the Mahatattva is called the material sky. This part of the spiritual sky, called the Mahatattva, is only an insignificant portion of the whole spiritual sky, and within this Mahatattva there are innumerable universes. All these universes are collectively produced by the Karanadakshayi Vishnu, called also the Mahavishnu, who simply throws his glance to impregnate the material sky.
Text 2. A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe from the navel lake of his body. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. Purport. The first Purusha is the Karanadakshayi Vishnu. From his skin holes, innumerable universes have sprung up. In each and every universe, the Purusha enters as the Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. He is lying within the half of the universe, which is full with the water of his body. And from the navel of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu has sprung the stem of the lotus flower, and the birthplace of Brahma, who is the father of all living beings and the master of all the demigod engineers engaged in the perfect design and working of the universal order. Within the stem of the lotus there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, and the earthly planets are situated in the middle. Upwards there are other better planetary systems, and the topmost system is called Brahma Loka or Satya Loka. Downwards from the earthly planetary system there are 7 lower planetary systems inhabited by the Asuras and similar other materialistic living beings.
From Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, there is expansion of Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, who is the collective Paramatma of all living beings. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnations within the universe are expanded. Should I keep reading? Therefore, the conclusion is that the Purusha avatar is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanadakshayi, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahatattva. Second, the Garbhodakshayi, who enters in each and every universe. And third, the Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. One who knows these plenary features of the personality of Godhead knows Godhead properly. And thus the knower becomes freed from the material conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. In this shloka, the subject matter of Mahavishnu is summarized. The Mahavishnu lies down in some part of the spiritual sky by his own free will. Thus, he lies in the ocean of Karana, from where he glances over his material nature, and the Mahatattva is at once created. Thus, electrified by the power of the Lord, material nature at once creates innumerable universes, just as in due course a tree decorates itself with innumerable grown fruits. The seed of the tree is sown by the cultivator, and the tree or creeper in due course becomes manifested with so many fruits. Nothing can take place without a cause. The Karana ocean is therefore called the causal ocean. Karana means causal. We should not foolishly accept the atheistic theory of creation. The description of the atheist is given in the Bhagavad Gita. The atheist does not believe in the Creator, but he cannot give a good theory to explain the creation. Material nature has no power to create without the power of the Purusha. Just as a Prakriti, or woman, cannot produce a child without the connection of a Purusha, or man. The Purusha impregnates and the Prakriti delivers. We should not expect milk from the fleshy bags at the neck of a goat, although they look like breastly nipples. Similarly, we should not expect any creative power from the material ingredients. we must believe in the power of the Purusha, who impregnates Prakriti or nature. Because the Lord wished to lie down in meditation, the material energy created innumerable universes at once. In each of them the Lord lay down, and thus all the planets and the different paraphernalia were created at once by the will of the Lord. The Lord has unlimited potencies, and thus he can act as he likes by perfect planning, although personally he has nothing to do. No one is greater than or equal to him. That is the verdict of the Vedas.
Text 3.
This is chapter 3, text 3.
It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence. Purport. The conception of the Virat Rupa or Vishvarupa of the Supreme Absolute Truth is especially meant for the neophyte who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. To him, a form means something of this material world, and therefore an opposite conception of the Absolute is necessary in the beginning to concentrate the mind on the power extension of the Lord. As stated above, the Lord extends his potency in the form of the Mahatattva, which includes all material ingredients. The extension of power by the Lord and the Lord himself personally are one in one sense. But at the same time, the Mahatattva is different from the Lord. Therefore, the potency of the Lord and the Lord are simultaneously different and non-different. The conception of the Virat Rupa, especially for the impersonalists, is thus non-different from the eternal form of the Lord. This eternal form of the Lord exists prior to the creation of the Mahatattva, and it is stressed here that the eternal form of the Lord is par excellence spiritual or transcendental to the modes of material nature. The very same transcendental form of the Lord is manifested by his internal potency, and formation of his multifarious manifestations of incarnations is always of the same transcendental quality, without any touch of the Mahatattva.
So before we go to the next verse, I just wanted to show everybody at home who's watching the crowd that's gathered. Watch. A flock of pigeons who just landed and listening to our meeting. That's the kind of crowd we attract. Guess you could say we're for the birds, as my old dear mother used to say. The devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha. So this is 1st Canto, chapter 3, verse 4. The devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces, all extraordinary. In that body there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings and are adorned with garlands. With our present materialized senses, we cannot perceive anything of the transcendental Lord. Our present senses are to be rectified by the process of devotional service, and then the Lord himself becomes revealed to us. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the transcendental Lord can be perceived only by pure devotional service. So, it is confirmed in the Vedas that only devotional service can lead one to the side of the Lord, and that only devotional service can reveal him. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said that the Lord is always visible to the devotees whose eyes have been anointed with the tinge of devotional service. So we have to take information of the transcendental form of the Lord from persons who have actually seen him with perfect eyes smeared with devotional service. In the material world, also, we do not always see things with our own eyes. We sometimes see through the experience of those who have actually seen or done things. If that is the process for experiencing a mundane object, it is more perfectly applicable in matters transcendental. So only with patience and perseverance can we realize the transcendental subject matter regarding the absolute truth and his different forms. He is formless to the neophytes, but he is in transcendental form to the expert servitor.
Text 5. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed or multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. Purport. The Purusha, after creating innumerable universes in the Mahatattva, entered in each of them as the second Purusha, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. When he saw that within the universe there was only darkness and space without a resting place, he filled half of the universe with water from his own perspiration and laid himself down on the same water. This water is called Garbhodaka. Then from his navel the stem of the lotus flower sprouted, and on the flower petals the birth of Brahma, or the master engineer of the universal plan, took place. Brahma became the engineer of the universe, and the Lord himself took charge of the maintenance of the universe as Vishnu. Brahma was generated from Raja Guna of Prakriti, or the mode of passion in nature, and Vishnu became the Lord of the mode of goodness. Vishnu, being transcendental to all the modes, always aloof from materialistic affection. This has already been explained. From Brahma there is Rudra, Shiva, who is in charge of the mode of ignorance or darkness. He destroys the whole creation by the will of the Lord. Therefore all three, namely Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, are incarnations of the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. From Brahma, the other demigods like Daksha, Marichi, Manu and many others became incarnated to generate living entities within the universe. This Garbhodakshay Vishnu is glorified in the Vedas, in the hymns of Garbhastuti, which begin with the description of the Lord as having thousands of heads, etc. The Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the Lord of the universe, and although he appears to be lying within the universe, he is always transcendental. This also has already been explained. The Vishnu, who is the plenary portion of the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, is the supersoul of the universal life, and he is known as the maintainer of the universe, or Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So the three features of the original Purusha are thus understood, and all the incarnations within the universe are emanations from the Kshirodakshay Vishnu.
Crowd of pigeons is increasing. I think we're liberating all the pigeons here in Russell Square. In different millennia, there are different incarnations, and they are innumerable. Although some of them are very prominent, such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Rama, Nrsimha, Vaman, and many others, these incarnations are called Leela incarnations. Then there are qualitative incarnations, such as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, or Rudra, who take charge of the different modes of material nature. Lord Vishnu is non-different from the personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is in the marginal position between the personality of Godhead and the living entities, or jivas. Brahma is always a jiva tattva. The highest pious living being, or the greatest devotee of the Lord, is empowered with the potency of the Lord for creation, and he is called Brahma. His power is like the power of the sun reflected in valuable stones and jewels. When there is no such living being to take charge of the post of Brahma, the Lord himself becomes a Brahma and takes charge of the post.
Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living being. He is the plenary portion of the Lord, but because Lord Shiva is in direct touch with material nature, he is not exactly in the same transcendental position as Lord Vishnu. The difference is like that between milk and curd. Curd is nothing but milk, and yet it cannot be used in place of milk. The next incarnations are the Manus. Within 1 day's duration of the life of Brahma, which is calculated by our solar year as 4,300,000 times 1,000, there are 14 Manus. Therefore, there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma and 5,040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years of his age, and therefore there are 5,040 times 100 or 500,000 for Manus.
504,000.
504,000 Manus in the duration of Brahma's life. There are innumerable universes with one Brahma in each of them, and all of them are created and annihilated during the breathing time of the Purusha. Therefore, one can simply imagine how many millions of Manus there are during one breath of the Purusha.
The Manus are prominent within this universe. The Manus who are prominent within this universe are as follows: Yagya as Swayambhuva Manu, Vibhu as Swadochisha Manu, Satyasen as Uttama Manu, Hari as Tamasa Manu, Vaikunta as Raivata Manu, Ajita as Chakshusha Manu, Vaman as Vaivashwata Manu, the present age is under the Vaivashwata Manu, Sarvabhauma as Savarni Manu, Rishab as Dakshashwani Manu, Vishwakshen as Brahma Savarni Manu, Dharmasetu as Dharma Savarni Manu, Sudama as Rudra Savarni Manu, Yogeshwar as Deva Savarni Manu, and Brihadbanu as Indra Savarni Manu. These are the names of one set of 14 Manus covering 4,300,000,000 solar years as described above.
Then there are the Yuga avatars, or the incarnations of the millennium. The Yugas are known as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. The incarnations of each Yuga are of different colour. The colours are white, red, black and yellow. In the Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna in black colour appeared, and in the Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya in yellow colour appeared.
So all the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. There is no scope for an impostor to become an incarnation, for an incarnation must be mentioned in the Shastras. As an incarnation does not declare himself to be an incarnation of the Lord, but great sages agree by the symptoms mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The features of the incarnation and the particular type of mission which he has to execute are mentioned in the revealed scriptures.
Hi Jay, if you're still watching.
Who?
Jay.
Who, Jay?
Pujari Jay.
Oh.
Apart from the different incarnations, direct incarnations, there are innumerable empowered incarnations. They are also mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Such incarnations are directly as well as indirectly empowered. When they are directly empowered, they are called incarnations, but when they are indirectly empowered, they are called vibhutis. Directly empowered incarnations are the Kumaras, Narada, Prithu, Shesha, Ananta, etc. As far as vibhutis are concerned, they are very explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. And for all these different types of incarnations, the fountainhead is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
And Jay said hello to you.
I'm alright, Jay, but I'm reading, so I can't respond. Just listen.
First Canto, Chapter 3, Verse 6. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who being situated in a vow of celibacy underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport. The creation of the material world is affected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of the living beings, in the creation. The Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kumara creation of the material world. And to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization.
Text 7. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. Purport. The indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. There cannot be any incarnation without particular function, and such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the boar was to take the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a boar. And the all-powerful personality of Godhead displayed this wonder to the Asuras who had hidden the earth in such a filthy place. There is nothing impossible for the personality of Godhead, and although he played the part of a boar by the devotees, he is worshipped, staying always in transcendence.
What did you say? Okay, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Verse 8. In the millennium of the Rishis, the personality of God had accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narad, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas, which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The great Rishi Narada, who is an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead, propagates devotional service all over the universe. All great devotees of the Lord all over the universe and in different planets and species of life are his disciples. Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is also one of his disciples. Narada is the author of Narada Pancharatra, which is the exposition of the Vedas, particularly for the devotional service of the Lord. This Narada Pancharatra trains the karmis, or the fruitive workers, to achieve liberation from the bondage of fruitive work. The conditioned souls are mostly attracted by fruitive work, because they want to enjoy life by the sweat of their own brows. The whole universe is full of fruitive workers in all species of life. The fruitive works include all kinds of economic development plans. But the law of nature provides that every action has its resultant reaction, and the performer of work is bound up by such reactions, good or bad. The reaction of good work is comparative material prosperity, whereas the reaction of bad work is comparative material distress. But material conditions, either in so-called happiness or in so-called distress, are all meant ultimately for distress only. Foolish materialists have no information of how to obtain eternal happiness in the unconditional state. Sri Narada informs these foolish fruitive workers how to realize the reality of happiness. He gives direction to the diseased men of the world how one's present engagement can lead one to the path of spiritual emancipation. The physician directs the patient to take treated milk in the form of curd for his sufferings from indigestion due to his taking another milk preparation. So the cause of the disease and the remedy of the disease may be the same, but it must be treated by an expert physician like Narad. The Bhagavad Gita also gives the same solution of serving the Lord by the fruits of one's labor. That will lead one to the path of Naishkarmya, or liberation.
You need to stop now.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna stop there at text 9.
Okay, so thank you all very much for tuning in. Anyone who's still watching, we're in Russell Square. It's a beautiful day. We're just doing about a half-hour reading of Srimad Bhagavatam each day live, so you're welcome to tune in. And also just wanted to offer a little prayer for my uncle Larry Barnhart, who has been admitted into hospital, so prayers for him. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone, take care. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna Jay.
Haribol.